You're listening to Radio Aula Mundi.
Hi there, wherever you are. I'm Marco Rixecker, a freelance writer, reporter, producer, teacher, translator, tour guide, poet, singer, and songwriter. I speak several languages, and I'm the creator and founder of Radio Aula Mundi, an evolving podcast station where no language and all languages are spoken. It's a multilingual mix of music, poetry, lectures, languages, interviews, documentaries, recipes, and a lot more, co-produced with the students of the Aula Mundi International Cultural Center. You can find us on radioalamundi.bandcamp.com, podcasts.apple.com, Spotify, YouTube, Breaker, Player FM, Facebook. Search Radio Aula Mundi. The following narrative includes excerpts from a collection of testimonies and interviews entitled Let's Talk About It Anywhere in the World, where it is all about people's voices, accents, and speech patterns, hand in hand with my own personal anecdotes and observations. In addition to that, people are free to introduce themselves and speak their minds openly, in their respective, often indigenous, languages and dialects, without any paraphrases or expectations. So, let the story go on from there. One morning, while I'm having my first cup of coffee of the day, an article in the Chicago Reader gets my attention and helps me to wake up. In it, Muddy Waters' last guitar player and band leader is portrayed. An important detail is that he is still alive and active. His name is John Primer, and he is touring the UK when I decide to reach out and ask for an online interview. He started a solo career after Muddy Waters had passed away in 1983. He is in his late 70s when we connect for an online conversation from different places in the world. John Primer is sitting on a couch in his living room in Chicago, wearing a fancy black suit and a black hat, as if he was about to go on stage any minute. And when he introduces himself, you can hear empathy, energy, and enthusiasm in his voice.
Hello, everyone. How you doing out there? My name is John Primer, and I'm a real deal blues man. I live in Chicago, Illinois. And right now I'm at home in my house doing this interview. And it's a pleasure to share my little thoughts with you all.
John Primer and I have about 30 minutes to discuss all kinds of topics. But rather than keeping it short, I decide to keep it intense, giving our conversation the same kind of power and poignancy I feel when I listen to John Primer's music. Obviously, John himself, his biographical background, and his music are the key focuses of our talk. But so is Chicago, one of the hotspots of the blues, and the name of John Primer is in the thick of it. Which part of you is Chicago?
Which part of me in Chicago? Well, I'm all Chicago. Matter of fact, I came to Chicago in 1963, so I started out in Mississippi, but Chicago I'm Chicago blues style, and well, I got all kind of style: Mississippi style, Delta style, all the styles you name it. I got all of it. So I heard all the music back then when I was born, and so I got all those styles, different styles, Memphis style, Arkansas style, whatever. But I'm Chicago man. I live in Chicago, and I got most of the Chicago blues style. Yeah.
What's going on in Chicago right now?
Well, I tell you, Chicago is pretty much the same when it comes to music. There've been too many changes in the music style because we have played blues in Chicago, and but Chicago got attention to play all kind of music, soul music, blues music, rock music, jazz, just traditional music, traditional blues, and traditional rock and roll. Everything is pretty much the same, but just the only thing about it is a lot of clubs is not here in Chicago anymore like it used to be. But there's very few in there. The one that is still here is still going strong. So Chicago is still the played the home of the blues to me. I call it. Chicago is. It haven't changed. Everybody still love blues in Chicago. They still love blues. Yeah, yeah.
What do you do to stay in the loop?
What do I do? Stay in the loop. Just keep my style the same, and my music are the same. And I keep my style the same. It's my loop, and I just write lyrics to different things. But this is me when I write a song. But when you hear my music, you know that's me because I don't change my style. I'm from the old school, like Muddy Waters, and all those other old guys, Magic Slim and BB King. All those guys, you know who they are. I never change my style, and I don't try to, I try to keep my style clean and pure so people can understand it. And I don't, I'm just real pure. I don't have no effects and things in my music I play. I just play straight from my amp and my guitar. So that's me. And anybody can hear me a mile around. I don't care what kind of guitar I'm playing. That's John Primer's sound. Got my own sound, yeah.
Please tell me about Maxwell Street.
Well, it's a whole different now. But back in the days, Maxwell Street was the place to go. And when you want to hear some old time blues and stuff, they didn't do much on Saturday. You might have one or two people down there on Saturday, but Sunday was the actual day for all the blues musicians go down there and play music in a lot, and all those vacant lots and things. And so Maxwell Street was a real place for all generations to go. People from all over the world came there on Sunday. You can go down there and you can hear blues. You can get some good old food, Polish sausage and all that stuff, and you can buy cheap clothes. All on the street. Everything you wanted was right there for you to do. You can go down there, you can stay down there all day long. Like I used to go down there every Sunday, and I'd be down. Well, some Saturday I would go down there and get some clothes. But on Sunday I never missed a Sunday holiday. I was always, you want to find John Primer, go down on Maxwell Street on Sunday. He's down there listening to. Most time I wasn't playing, but till I started playing. But when I wasn't playing down on Sunday, I would be down there every Sunday listening to the other guys play. Yeah.
How important is your original hometown and home region to you and what you do?
In my hometown, people down there, they know what blues is all about. But in my hometown, I came from a place called Camden, Mississippi. But back in the days, I always was, from a little kid all the way up to I was older, but I always wanted to know what music was all about. My hometown was a place that I did a lot of work in a cotton field and sharecropping. My grandmother did sharecropping and stuff like that. But I did a lot of work down there, but it's not much to look at down. It's just like Maxwell Street. It's all gone. Nothing there in my hometown. No stores or nothing like that. But it's still my home, and I go back and once in a while and visit my people down there. But it was a great little town. But all my ancestors and things, they knew what blues was about. And that's how I know what blues was about. So I listened to them when I was a kid growing up, playing blues and stuff on the box and stuff. So a record player. So it's pretty much the same. It's still the same down there, but it's not like it used to be. Not like it used to be. If had nobody swarming down there now and picking cotton and stuff like that. Now they got factory jobs down there now. So that's what mostly everybody down there does now. Yeah.
Other big names also come up, including Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and Magic Slim, all of whom John Primer played music and was friends with. He even jammed with the Rolling Stones at some point during his long career. The list could go on forever. But John Primer is quite a songwriter and storyteller himself.
I feel great. I feel and the older I get, the more I feel it. You know, I feel that music, and it's kind of writing songs and all that. It's good for me, and I feel great about it. Because I thank God for me being in good health and can still do it. So I feel very good about this. Yeah, yeah.
How much do you think before it's all right?
Um, when I'm writing it with a feeling. You know, if you can't just go write something, you got to make it mean something and have a feeling of writing songs. So that's the way I does it. And I after I get through writing it, I'll try to put some music humming. You know, when I'm writing it, I hum it, and then I pick my guitar and play a couple lines, and yeah, that's the way it should go, like this with these lyrics. So pretty much come to me pretty easy. If I hear something, a word that I never, I can make a song out of this lyric, and then I sit up thinking, and I think about things, and I get my book, my pencil, and paper, and start writing what I'm thinking about. I'm a quiet thinker. I don't think out loud too much, but when I'm not saying anything, I'm thinking. So I think about a lot of stuff, and I write it down. Yeah, write it down, and that's how I write songs. Yeah.
What's the coolest sound you've heard recently?
Um, the coolest sound is what I heard recently is hard time. Hard time. That's the coolest sound it is for the music. So that's for me. Um, there's a lot of more of the good sounds out there, but I think I pick hard time for the number one sound of the music, especially the blues. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
What are your two most opposite influences?
My two most obviously influences. Number one was Muddy Waters. That's my number one, and then Jimmy Reed is like my number two, and then Howlin' Wolf was there too. I mean, it's pretty hard to say, but they all was my idol. But Muddy Waters was my number one idol. But all the other people's, I love them too, and I idol them too. They my idols too, but Muddy Waters was my number one. Muddy Waters was a different style, and he had his own style, and his music was very easy to play. Um, but the easier one in the middle was Jimmy Reed was easy to music to play, but Muddy Waters was great too. But Jimmy Reed was number one, and Howlin' Wolf, he was there too. But Jimmy Reed was the number one that got me started playing all that lump, that way he played. Because when I picked up a guitar, I heard I could play guitar, but when I heard Jimmy Reed, and then I just feel right in there where this is what I'm got to play with that one finger to start off what he playing. Because I could play other type of music when I was younger, but when I heard that type of blues, that's what made me. A lot of guitar players, they pick up the guitar and they gonna play that Jimmy Reed lump if they gonna play blues first with that one finger slide up and down the string and it changes. Yeah. So that really got me going. And it was just something that stuck to me. It just stuck to me. But Muddy Water was my number one island of all the three. But I learned all the type of their style.
John Primer's most recent material has made it into an album entitled Hard Times, which was released a couple of weeks prior to his tour in the UK and our interview. What's the story?
Well, I for those 2 years more, I was writing songs, right. I got tons of songs that I've written and I can record, but for some reason I don't know. The Hard Time CD, I just started thinking about how way things are, and I just started writing songs, and I got ready to do my do the CD called Hard Time, and I used those songs. The songs I wrote then back then, not early, late. Since the pandemic, I wrote those songs on that CD, and I just started writing. But that's why I recorded that and called the Hard Time, because time was hard. No musician was working. No, not anyone was working, but musicians was suffering the most. Gigs. 2 years, 3 years musicians. A lot of musicians all over the world was depending on that to make a living in music. But it was a hard time. They do nothing. So I decided I call it Hard Time and make a song called Hard Time. My song on there is called Hard Time, the name of the CD. And so it's a great CD because it's been nominated for this year, Blues Music Award, Album of the Year, Hard Time, Traditional Album of the Year, Hard Time, Traditional Male Blues Artist of the Year. So, hey, so that says something. That's why I wrote it. And you can vote, the Blues Award, Blues Foundation. So that CD really made me think, hey, man, when I was writing and did all that, I wasn't even thinking about that. What is it going to be like? But now that CD is a great CD and everyone loved it. It was a great CD for Hard Time. It's nominated for three awards, so it's got to be good. Yeah, got to be good.
What is touring like nowadays?
Since the pandemic was over, I think, I work more than I did before. Now I am. So when it came back, I've been working. I've been hardly sitting around doing that. I've been playing. If I'm not out of town, I'm playing in Chicago, I'm playing in Wisconsin, I'm playing in Florida, playing in Austin, Texas, everywhere. I've been California. I've been everywhere. So I'm working. I got more gigs than I had back then. So I'm working more now than I was. Yeah. So that's a good thing. I'm working more. It was hard for us. Yeah.
But the story doesn't end there. John Primer and I even discussed food for a little while before we move on to some of his ongoing projects at the time of our conversation. He is about to release a new record and even holds up a CD later during our talk. What's the recipe for your favorite Chicago dish?
Well, not too much of a recipe, but I just like good traditional food, health food. I like health food a lot. I like, but yeah, but my traditional food is some good old turnip greens and cornbread with some fat back in there, either some turkey wings in there, smoked meat in there, and that's the number one. Yep, and a sweet potato.
What are you working on right now?
Well, the teardrops. There's another guy, after Buddy and all them passed away, and then I worked with Magic Slim for 13 years, longest band I ever played in. And so Magic Slim is another one of the guys. I'm working on that. I already did a brand new CD for a tribute to Magic Slim with the teardrops, and this is the CD here. It's the CD, and there's yeah. So you can it's available. You can, if you want to buy the CD, you can get it now online. Yeah. You can pre-order it now. I can put it that way. You can pre-order. Yeah. So you can pre-order. Just go online and check it out. And so that's what I've been working on now, because that was the guy that another one of those. Matt Sin was another one of those guys that never changed his style. We played the same music all the time, same different song, but if you hear me, you know it's Magic Slim. Yep.
John Primer's most recent material has made it into an album entitled Hard Times, which was released a couple of weeks prior to his tour in the UK and our interview. Who's the personality you'd like to chat with now or even have dinner with later today?
It would it would have to be Muddy Waters, man. Muddy. Yeah.
What's the first question you would like to ask him?
Yeah. Well, I would ask him, hey, Muddy, I just want to ask you one thing. And because I'm trying to find out how you get that sound with that slide. So I would like to know that, how you get the sound with it, Because I play slide black, I learned from him, but I can't get the sound you got. I think he would give me an answer, say, hey, you just got to turn your guitar up and play with a feeling. That's what I would do. And I think that'll work for me. And what's for dinner, Muddy? Yeah, what's for dinner?
Eventually, it is time to wrap it up. So I quickly take the opportunity to go back to John Primer's music, and especially one particular song of his. And so, the story goes on from there. Which song of yours would best illustrate this conversation?
Hard time. Hard time. Hard time would be the best one. And well, I got another one on there too, on that Hard Time CD that my daughter written, and she sang it called Tough Time. And she was thinking the same what I was back, during the pandemic, tough time, yeah. And she was telling about what people couldn't do and what they can do. So that, to me, that's one of my number one songs on there. The song she wrote is competing with Hard Time. But I tell her hers is the best. Yeah, hers is the best. Yeah. My 18-year-old daughter, she's 18 years old, Leah, yeah.
Postscript. Eventually, John Primer and I move on to a project that consists of crossing over and build bridges between people anytime, anywhere in the world. As part of my conversations with people, I often have them ask questions, either specifically for someone I know I'm going to chat with in the near future, or broadly for anyone I might speak with anytime, anywhere in the world. As a result, 3 questions are available for John Primer. The first one comes from a woman who goes by the artist's name of Quinquis. Her real name is Emily Tiersen. She is married to Jan Tiersen, who became sort of an international celebrity for the soundtrack he composed and performed for the French blockbuster movie Amélie in the 1990s. She is an accomplished artist and musician, as well as a strong defender and student of Breton, a Celtic language spoken in Brittany, France. She even sings in that language, mixing it with UK-style electronic music. Her question for John Primer sounds a little tongue-in-cheek, and that's how he seems to take it.
If your music could be heard by an animal, which one do you think would like it?
Elephant. Well, the elephant got a trump and he can blow his trump. when he says "hey," he sounds like a horn. So I think an elephant would be mine. Yeah.
The next question comes from another woman who uses an artist's name, Carol C., a bilingual Dominican-American musician who also performs both in English and in Spanish. Her question leads John Primer to remember his early days down in the Deep South.
If you had to choose one song to describe yourself, what would it be?
Poor Man Blues. I got a song written called Poor Man Blues. On my Aula, which is a CD called Poor Man Blues. I would have that because it's the words and the lyrics is what's going on today and tomorrow and forever. help the people, y'all. Poor man blues. I'm a poor man living the best way I can, but I need me some money so I can loan a helping hand. Help the people, y'all. People starving all over the world. If we all get together on a helping hand, then they would be on their merry way. Yep.
The last question for John Primer comes from another Chicago musician who also uses an artist's name, Brother Derek. Derek Wu is his real name. His question has to do with motivations and manages to get John Primer emotional and intense, and has me conclude with 2 follow-up questions having to do with colors and dancing.
Like, what is it that drives your commitment?
Hard time. What drives me to my particular style is it's just the way I was brought up, you know. And when I was, like I said, when I was down in Mississippi, and I had a hard time down there growing up. It was tough down there for me growing up. We didn't have much. My grandmother had about 11 kids with my mom. So she was the firstborn, but it's all 11 of them, sisters and brothers. So all is in that same house. And I had a hard time growing up with food and stuff like that. And my time was tough. So, just being, let's see, hard time. I don't know. It's hard for me to say that. Yeah, I was. Yeah, actually, I was born with the blues. Regardless, I was just born with it ever since I was a little kid. So that's my answer. Is just if you had a hard time growing up and stuff like that, blues is that's what it's all about. Hard time. It's speaking of the past, speaking of the things that happened to you, good things that happened to you, bad. So that's the way I feel about blues. Yeah.
What is so special about the blue note?
The blue note. Hey, that's a good question there. I would like to know that about the blue note. Chicago, they call it, well, blues is blues, but I think because of what's so important about it, because you know, I'm blue, you blue. Blue mean I'm so blue, that's mean you're lonesome. Yeah. So it just, to me, it's hard to say it, and then that's why they call it the blues. Blues to the blue. So it's pretty hard to think about that. Yeah. Good question. That's a good question you asked me there.
What kinds of emotions make you want to dance?
Well, what I do when I play, I play songs and nobody dance. I keep searching until I can find a song that start them to dance. And when I do, then I just keep it going. I keep it going so they can dance. Then I know people's feeling good when they get up and dance. They're feeling good. Because if you're not playing it the right beat, you got to play the right beat for people to dance on. You got to have it in the right time, and you can't play it too fast for dance for the way people want to dance. You got to play it in the right time for that to get that feeling to make them steps. If you play it too fast, then and maybe some young y'all get up and jump around on that fast stuff. But you got to, when an older person get up and dance, you got to play that music right so that we can move. And so that's the way you have to do that. And I just keep searching for it, and I find them. When I get them going, they go, I got them. Then I say, I got them. We got them now.